Hey CrossFit community, Frank back with another video. It's been a while since I made one. I decided to step back. I was spending a lot of time on the CFAC movement and really needed to just refocus on my community and my family. So I stepped away, and I really think I had made the case for why private equity's ownership of CrossFit in this community was problematic, even existential. I also think CrossFit headquarters was doing a good enough job on their own, making the case, continuing to make the case for why it was problematic. And so I stepped back for a little while, and I decided to really just focus on one of the feedback comments I had heard was they wanted more details on what it would look like, and so I've been working on that. And again, I'll share some high-level stuff, and we'll try to get into it a little bit more, maybe in future videos. And apologies again. I know everybody wants really fine details, but I don't think that's really how it works in any of these scenarios. When you started your gym, you probably didn't know all the ins and outs, and some of the budget numbers you came up with were projections, but there's no way to know certain things, and you find out expenses as you go and things like that. But ultimately what it comes down to is the principle of private equity running CrossFit headquarters to maximize profits doesn't work. And so what is the solution? And the solution is sound. The solution is affiliates who are the caretakers of the forest, who are the ones on the ground doing the work, stepping up, organizing, taking collective action. And originally my thought was we buy HQ. One of the changes in thinking I've had is that why would we buy HQ, being that private equity has likely saddled that company with a large amount of debt, and it could be argued that the brand name is tainted. And I think that's one of my arguments. Under private equity, they haven't stewarded the brand. They haven't promoted the brand positively or attempted to counter the negative perceptions. That's hard to do when you fire your media team and refuse to spend money. So the solution that I think is the better preferred solution is that we start a new company and we start a new brand. And really what I want to preserve is not so much the brand name, but the community and the methodology. The methodology belongs to Greg. And I'm hoping to hear an announcement from him sometime in the near future. His non-compete ended this month. And so I'm hoping to hear from him, and we're somewhat in a holding pattern, waiting to hear what he has planned. If he's planning to start a new brand, a competing brand, I don't really have any intentions of competing with that, and I hope I will be able to be affiliated, my gym will be affiliated with Greg's new brand. But if he is interested in licensing out his IP to other brands and letting other brands use the CrossFit methodology, the Glassman methodology, which is really what it is. CrossFit doesn't own the methodology. Greg owns his intellectual property. CrossFit owns the brand name CrossFit, and they own the phrase Forging Elite Fitness, and that's really all they own. So you can be following Greg's methodology if you've de-affiliated, and you can't call it CrossFit. But at my gym, we are no longer affiliated, and nothing changed about our workouts. We still follow Greg's methodology. We just no longer use the word CrossFit to describe it, and no longer use the phrase Forging Elite Fitness, which honestly we didn't really ever use. So with that being said, I don't think there's anything unique or revolutionary about what we're doing. We're going to form a corporation. I don't know all the ins and outs of a complicated corporation. I formed a corporation when I started my gym, and I had some lawyers help me with it. And largely the same would be true for the CFAC affiliate collective, the community first affiliate collective. We would form a corporation. We'd have lawyers that assist us with doing it. I've already spoken to an equities lawyer about what it would roughly look like in terms of issuing shares in the corporation so that affiliate owners could purchase shares and be owners of the company. We would trademark a new brand. Again, nothing revolutionary here. There's business consultants, trademark lawyers who we could engage and would make sure that we could do everything correctly. Probably the biggest tricky thing there is finding a brand, the name that we want to use. There is a certain simplicity to CrossFit, and people equate that with Greg's methodology. But I think we could pretty quickly come up with at least an alternative, and it may not be maybe as catchy as CrossFit. I have an idea, and if you have ideas, feel free to share them if you're willing to donate the idea to the CF Affiliate Collective. I don't share them publicly because we don't want someone else trademarking it before we're ready to trademark it. But I have an idea, and worst case scenario, we could be trademarking that brand. And if we decide we still like CrossFit better and private equity is willing to sell it to us for a price that we're willing to pay, then we could look into buying the brand without buying the company and all the debt and all the baggage associated with it. Again, I think the brand has potentially some reputation issues, and we could largely circumvent that. We also wouldn't have to raise the capital. I know that's been a lot of people say, how could we possibly come up with the money to buy CrossFit HQ? And if we just start our own company and start our own brand, we don't need to raise any money to buy the existing company. Yes, we would need to raise some capital that we would do by selling shares to affiliate owners who want to invest in the new company and be owners of the new company. If you don't want to invest, but you want to be part of the brand, we would offer affiliation. Everybody would be, each gym would be an affiliate, and we'd use affiliate fees as revenue to run the company. And we would look for affiliate owners who want to invest. I think there's an easy way to make investing in the company easy, an easy decision, a no-brainer, if you will. And so, if it's something everybody can afford, largely what I think we're looking to do with selling equity in the company would be to raise enough money to get the brand off the ground. Now, I think we don't even need that much money because if you have a new brand form and you have 1,000 affiliates that were former CrossFit affiliates are now affiliates with that new brand, I think that makes pretty big news. And I think in this ecosystem where we have a lot of media voices that are not part of CrossFit but are third party, you would easily make the news. And I think those third party media sources would pretty much be forced to report that news, and then thus the brand would have pretty instant recognition within the community, and arguably I think it would even be newsworthy outside of our community. And you could certainly establish the brand as, hey, these are gyms that took an ethical, moral stance, that have principles and disagreed with the way private equity was running HQ, and thus they started a new brand. And which brand would you want to be a part of as a consumer? Would you want to be part of the brand that is run by private equity, attempting to maximize profits? Or would you want to be part of the brand that is owned by the gyms and run on principles around solving chronic disease? I know which one I would want to be part of. I've already made my decision in terms of my gym, and I don't want to be part of a business that's looking to maximize profits. I'm looking to be part of a brand that is associated with solving the world's most vexing problem, chronic disease, using Greg's methodology through exercise and constantly varied functional movement performed at high intensity, and following the nutrition principles outlined by Greg and his intellectual property by the Glassman methodology. So I think that would largely be the case for our brand and what our brand would stand for. And like I said, I'd hope that we would be licensing Greg's intellectual property from him And so I think the other fundamental change I've had with regards to how this would work is that, and I guess I had notions of this early on when I presented the Green Bay Packers model, where the Green Bay Packers fans owned equity in the company. And so the possibility of making ownership on some level an option for members of the community, which I think, again, gets buy-in from the members of the community. And as an athlete, as a member of a gym, I would want to step up and help out and buy a share in the company, the brand that is promoting Greg's methodology. I think the community is really what I want to save in the methodology. I don't really care about the brand name. So, and if there was a new brand name that stood for what CrossFit used to stand for, then I would get behind the new brand as an athlete, and I would even invest money to make that happen, to help make that happen. So I think, while this movement has largely been focused on affiliate owners, I think largely we need to expand the movement to involve not just affiliate owners, but athletes, not just the games athletes, but also the members of your community, and coaches and seminar staff. So if you're watching this and you're not a gym owner, we want you to be part of this movement. And that might mean at some point, if you're interested in investing and owning a share in the new brand and the new company, there would be an option there. And the details of that to be determined. But additionally, we need your help spreading the word. So make sure your gym owner knows about the CF Affiliate Collective, the Community First Affiliate Collective. Make sure they're tuned into what's going on with HQ. I've recently heard from a lot of gym owners that their community largely doesn't know what's going on, and that's fine. The analogy I've used is cracks in the wall. There are cracks in the wall, and the roof hasn't collapsed yet, and you can ignore those cracks in the wall until the roof collapses in on you, or you can stand up and fix the wall, fix the problem. And so I'm hoping that gym owners, while it may not impact them, and some gym owners might even be seeing an uptick in their business because some other gym that de-affiliated closed down. And so, that I can understand how that would be, maybe a hard decision for that gym owner to turn down success of their business and take a chance on a new brand. But ultimately, it's a principled thing. So if you're principled, I think largely, if I have to think about, I've spent some time thinking about the CrossFit brand and what made it so appealing. And I don't think it was, necessarily people throwing up after workouts, or that the workouts were so hardcore. The intensity certainly is added to the efficacy of the methodology. But what I think really the underlying appeal of it was that it was revolutionary. It changed fitness. It was a different way of doing fitness, and it was a principled way of doing fitness. Squatting below parallel was counter to the common narrative, and not only did Greg encourage squatting below parallel, but he offered reasons why, and the intensity and all the things that make up the methodology was many of those things were counter to the industry narrative. And I think that was really the appeal of CrossFit. And so, I think they've lost the principle, they've lost the trust of the community. They're no longer the principled brand they once were. In fact, arguably they're the opposite. They've lost trust, and they have no principles other than maximizing profits. And so I think if you offered a new brand and a new company that reestablished those principles and that trust, I think you'd see affiliates, coaches, and the community move over quickly. We have work to do to establish that brand and that company. It's not impossible. And the way it happens the easiest or the quickest is with affiliates organizing and collectively taking action. So that's my hope, and that's what I'm working on. The steps for forming a corporation, the steps for raising equity, not completely straightforward. The steps for trademarking, not completely straightforward, but I'm not when we get to those stages, I will be engaging people with the knowledge and the experience to do this stuff. When you have legal stuff, you engage lawyers. When you have trademark stuff, you engage lawyers. When you have business questions, whether it's corporate governance, those type of things, you can engage business consultants on how to set up your bylaws and your operating agreements and things like that. If you have input, I'm happy to have help and sounding boards, and please reach out, and I'm happy to discuss my ideas and hear your feedback. At some point this will be handed off to a board of directors. And just to be clear, at no point am I asking you for money. If there's investments to be made, it goes into the corporation, which would be established and have bank accounts that are controlled by, again, corporate governance, by the board, by CFO. None of this money is coming to me up to this point, and for at some point going forward, it will be, I'm not even taking money. I'm doing this for free on my spare time. So yeah. So anyway, I appreciate your support. Appreciate the messages of support. There's been a lot of people reaching out, encouraging this project to move forward, and that's really helps. Really positive. Appreciate it. For those of you who insist that it can't happen, nothing here is new or revolutionary. For those of you who believe that I'm not the guy to do it, great, step up and do it. Last I checked, I'm the only one who's actually stepping up and doing things. If you have issues with me, again, you're welcome to step up. You're welcome to just sit on the sidelines and not participate. The people that support the movement and jump in early, they will be the ones that are the founders of this new company. And there's again, those are the people we really want part of this company. And we welcome open arms, even the people who sat on the sidelines. At some point you'll be welcome, when you make that decision. That's up to you. I think one of my thoughts is we will have some financial perks to those who join. So much like when Greg offered and grandfathered in lower affiliate fees for the initial affiliates, and then raise the fees as time went on. I'm envisioning something similar to that, where you would get a lower affiliate fee and be grandfathered in at that. And so my hope is that the OGs, who are largely seen as leaders in this community, the people that have been CrossFit affiliates for the longest, will be some of those initial people that move over to this new brand, who see an issue with private equity owning the company. And if those OGs abdicate their leadership role, the CrossFit affiliates, the 10 plus, 15 plus year affiliates, abdicate their role as leaders in the community, then they may lose that grandfathered in fee with the new brand, and they might be now the ones paying $3,000 a year instead of $500. And the gyms and affiliates that lead the way, I envision that they would have a discounted affiliate fee for taking the chance and helping to build the brand with initial investment and affiliate fees. My thought is, again, we're going to make investing in the company an easy decision. If we have significant numbers, then it doesn't have to be a lot of money, because we're not buying an existing company. We would be starting a new company. And yes, it does take money to start a new company, but not nearly as much to buy the existing brand. Fortunately, we would be able to, again, establish the reputation of our brand just by the fact that it makes news within the community, that 1,000, 2,000, however many affiliates we have move over. I think even 1,000 affiliates would be newsworthy within this ecosystem. And, especially when we're establishing a brand that, hopefully Greg licenses IP to, and we establish a brand that is based on principles, that's based on putting the community before profits, and part of how we would do that would be the corporation be formed as a public benefit corporation. And maybe I'll make a video talking more about that, but it's a way to, in the founding documents of the corporation, you specify stakeholders, and those stakeholders are prioritized or at least in balance with profits. So we can still report a profit as part of this new company, but largely what I would look to do is, if we had profits, reinvest those profits in the brand to grow the number of affiliates by growing the demand for gyms that are part of the brand. I think I guess one thing I would change from how things were done under Greg is look to be a little more considered in our decision whether a new affiliate needs to open in an area. I think a lot of gyms, I know Greg had that model of the survival of the fittest is maybe how I'll describe it, where if you weren't a good gym and somebody else opened up a better gym, then they'd want that new gym. But I think there are plenty of scenarios where good gyms were harmed by new gyms opening up, and hopefully new gyms, hopefully both gyms are good gyms, and then you're still splitting the population in that area. And arguably CrossFit, the additional thought was that so many people needed the methodology that even if you opened up two gyms next door to each other, arguably both should be busting at the seams with members, because there was so many people that needed CrossFit. Unfortunately, again, one of my issues with the CrossFit brand is I don't think they did a good job of stewarding that brand, promoting the positives, countering the negatives, and largely by telling the story of average Joes and Janes in CrossFit gyms. One of my complaints about the games was that they showed the competition floor for 10, 20 minutes at a time, sometimes between events and between heats. And that time could be used promoting the transformations and magic that happens in affiliates, the average Joes and Janes in affiliates, and telling those stories. Now, I don't know if a decision was made because of the tragedy that happened at the game with Lazar's drowning, but if you're going to continue with the games, at least I don't know why you would stop promoting affiliates. I mean, the mission of the company should be solving the world's most vexing problem, chronic disease, and that's done at the affiliate level. And the games, Greg, we shared a video of Greg talking about the games as really just a clown at a car dealership, and the clown is to draw people in, draw parents in, because their kids want to see the clown, and then you talk to the parents about the car, right? The used cars you're selling. It's a sideshow. It's supposed to be a sideshow, and instead, the games was this year, and I think they'd done it in the past, but this year, for whatever reason, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see a single commercial, a single video. Again, maybe it's because they fired the entire media team and they're not spending money to make videos that tell these stories. But the only way the games make sense, or that money from affiliates makes sense to be spent on the games, is if it's promoting the affiliates and the work being done in affiliates, and encouraging people and telling the message that even though you're watching this group of people do really intense workouts, or that intensity is relative, and you don't have to be able to snatch 300 pounds or do any of those events that you see at the games in order to walk into a gym and start getting fitter. You don't have to be fit like these people. You don't have to have 12-pack abs, and you can be an average Joe with a beer belly and walk in to a gym. You can be a 60-year-old who's never worked out in their lives, or a housewife who is struggling to pick up their kids, and you can come into a CrossFit gym and get fit and change your life, and not just get physically fit, but all the positives that come with working out in an affiliate with coaching. So anyway, I think the big takeaways from this video are, the transition to looking at starting a new corporation and a new brand instead of necessarily buying the existing corporation and all that goes with that, as well as expanding this group, whether it's the Instagram followers, but also potentially our current owners and investors, to outside of just affiliate owners, to members of the community, coaches, seminar staff, and forming the corporation as a public benefit corporation, putting profits second to the stakeholders, to the community, to the affiliates, to the coaches. And so that's where we're at. Again, if you have specific questions about how this works, please let me know. Comment down below. And we're going to put this on YouTube, so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to try to start doing videos there, because it's just these longer form videos seem to work best. If you have questions or there's things you think we haven't considered, let us know. We'll try to answer them in future videos. If you want to be involved and help out, love it. Roll up your sleeves, reach out. Let's get this done, and keep spreading the word. Affiliate owners, athletes, and coaches, help us spread the word. Follow us on Instagram, CF Affiliate Collective on Instagram, and subscribe and like this video on YouTube. All right, thanks for your help spreading the word. Let's keep moving it forward. Thanks, bye.